Hey, what's up guys? I'm Don Roberts, and today I want to show you some finger exercises that you can do as a beginner guitarist that's going to help you in 4 main areas. Those are strength, your dexterity, your stretching, and your speed. So don't go anywhere because that's coming up right after this. All right, so the first exercise that we're gonna do is one that focuses on strength. Now, we can't just go and take like finger dumbbells and work our hands out. You could take one of those finger exercisers and use that, but personally, I think just playing the guitar is much more fun and it does about the same thing, you know, over time. So for us, what we're gonna do is something that I like to call pulsing, and it's a lot like isometrics. If you're familiar with those. And the way that you want to do it is like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to assign 1 finger per fret here. So we've got our first finger on the first fret of the low E string. Then we've got a second finger, your middle finger on the 2nd fret, your ring finger on the 3rd fret, and your pinky on the 4th fret. And what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze down on these strings one at a time. We're not going to use our picking hand, but we're going to pretend like we're making a note. Like we're going to squeeze down on this 1st fret for the first one, and so on. Now, each time we do a finger pulse, it's going to, we're going to press down for about a second for each one. And we're going to do that 2 times. So what that sounds like, or what that looks like, is like this. So we're going to start with the 1st fret here, and we're going to squeeze like this. We've got on, off, on, off. And that's just that 1st finger. Next, we're moving on to the middle finger, and we've got on, off, on, off. Then we've got our 3rd finger, on, off, on, off. Then we've got a pinky, on, off, on, off. Then what we want to do is we would just want to take all these fingers, move them down to the next string, and do the whole thing over again. So we've got 1st finger twice, then middle finger twice, and then ring finger twice, and then pinky twice, and then we'll move that down again. So what you want to do is just go through all the strings like that, go through every fret 2 times with each finger, and what that's going to do is it's going to give you strength in your hands and in your forearms so that you can then go on to play harder chords and, you know, harder note phrases and stuff like that. You know, you're just going to get overall strength in your hands by doing this finger pulsing technique. So next up is dexterity. Now, dexterity is when you get your fingers to move in weird ways, or you know, like say you're playing crazy chords, jumping from chord to chord. That's dexterity. It's like finger independence. So there's not really like a set finger exercise for that, and really you can use whatever you want for finger dexterity as long as it gives you a challenge. It's pretty much a dexterity exercise, right? Because if you try to do something and you can't do it, the way that you learn to do it is just by doing it over and over again. So repetition is the key here. You gain dexterity by doing things over and over again until your brain and your fingers kind of unlock the secrets. It's kind of like a puzzle where your fingers have to work out the way to solve it. So with that said, I'll give you some examples of things that you can try, and hopefully you can kind of see like what I'm doing, like this pattern here, so that you can go on to make your own. Okay, so this is a little complicated at first, but I think by looking at the tab and me going through it kind of step by step, you'll kind of see the pattern here. So what I've got here is kind of like finger sets or finger patterns. And the first one is going to be a 1st finger and middle finger, and then a 3rd finger and 4th finger. So I play a chord here with a 1st finger and middle finger. Then we've got a 3rd finger and 4th finger. And then I invert or kind of flip-flop that chord that I was just playing. So it's a middle finger and 1st finger again, but now it's inverted. Okay, and then we're going to invert that 4th and 3rd finger again, but this time on the next string, just to kind of give it a little bit of a variation. Okay, now back to the beginning, but this time we're going to be on the next string. Now we're going to invert again, and then invert, but on the lower string to start over. Okay, so it sounds like this. Now just keep in mind that finger exercises are not always meant to sound good. They're meant to work your fingers out. So just keep that in mind as you're going through these. Okay, so the next pattern, we just did a first finger and second finger. This one, we're gonna do a first finger and third finger, which leaves our middle finger and fourth finger, our pinky, to be the second set. So here we've got a first finger and third finger, and this is the exact same pattern. So then we got middle finger and pinky, then we invert that first one, then we invert that chord again, but it's on the next string. Okay, then we start over on this higher string, and then we invert it, and then invert to go down. So we've got like that. Now, the last one is going to be our first finger and pinky, which means that our middle finger and third finger are going to be the second set. So it's the exact same thing. We go first finger and pinky, then middle finger and third finger. Now we invert it, and then invert, but on the higher string. Okay, and then we got first finger and pinky, invert, and then inverted down one string. So that one is like this. Now just remember that pretty much anything can be used as a dexterity exercise as long as it gives you a challenge. You don't have to use what I just did. Feel free to make up your own or use a section of a song that you like that gives you a challenge, as long as it's something that you have to do over and over again until your fingers get it. That's a dexterity exercise. All right, so next up is stretching, and what we're gonna do today is pretty basic. If you want something that's maybe a little bit more fun, a little bit more applicable to actually playing music, go ahead and click that video up there for a G major scale. We talk about a lot of the same things in that video that we're going to today, except that's, you know, actually playing music, and this is just kind of a random stretching exercise. So what we're going to do is we're going to, again, we're going to put one finger per fret here, but this time we're going to have our first finger on the 6th fret, then we have a middle finger on the 7th fret, and then we have an 8th fret, and then we have a 9th fret. Now the biggest thing to think about here is the way that your hand is positioned. What you want, and if I can turn it like this, you can kind of see that, you know, here's the guitar neck, right? And then here's my middle finger, and it's kind of making the shape of a T, right? Like, there's up and then there's the side part, and you really want your hand to be centered here. Okay, so we're not starting back here, right, and then working middle finger up and then ring finger and then pinky like that. What we're doing is we're kind of starting here in the middle, right? So we've got a middle finger and then a first finger and then third finger. So it should look like this, not like this, okay? So everything's kind of starting in the middle and spreading out. So with that in mind, what we want to do is we want to now take our first finger down to the 5th fret while keeping all the rest of these fingers the same. Okay, so we've got a 5th fret and a 6th fret, 5th fret and a 6th fret. So as we're just kind of moving that down, keeping these fingers the same, we're teaching our hand to kind of center here on our middle finger, not center from our first finger. Okay, then what we want to do is we're going to try that with our pinky. We're going to take our pinky that is on the 9th fret and then just move it up to the 10th fret. Okay, then if we want to put them together, we've got a 5th fret here and then a 10th fret. Now that may be a big stretch for a lot of you guys. I have small hands, and that's kind of a stretch for me too, but what helps is lowering my thumb, and I've got my thumb kind of on the lower half of the neck there, and it's pretty much directly behind my middle finger. Okay, so the way that stretch works is because everything is centered around this middle finger and then working out. Okay, I would never be able to hit this stretch if I started back here and tried to work my way up. I have to start in the middle and work out to get that stretch. And that's pretty much it. If you want to try maybe like a stretchy chord, you can try some add 9 chords, and those look like this. So we've got a 5th fret on the low E string. We've got a middle finger playing a 7th fret on the A string, and then we've got a pinky playing the 9th fret on the D string. It's like 2 power chords stacked on top of each other if you are familiar with power chords. Now these are kind of the basic version of the bar chord version, which is like this. And those are a really big stretch, especially if you start coming way down here into the 1st fret. That is a huge stretch. And, you know, if you're working on those, I would suggest starting up here a little higher, maybe like the 9th fret or 7th fret, and then just slowly over time working your way down until your fingers get used to that big stretch. All right, so that brings us to our last thing, which is speed. Now, there is no better way to get faster at playing guitar than to use a metronome. Now, I know a lot of people don't like using metronomes because they're kind of annoying, but there really is no better way to get faster at playing guitar. So what you can do is you can download metronomes for free on your phone, or you can go buy those, you know, plastic digital metronomes online or at like Guitar Center. Or you can, you know, just search Google for free metronome. But basically what you want to do is you want to take anything that you're working on, and it's a lot like those dexterity exercises where you can use anything as a dexterity exercise. You can really use anything as a speed exercise. So what you want to do is you want to start off with something really slow, like 60 beats per minute. And let's say, for example, we're going to play a G major scale. I'm just going to use my phone here, and I'm going to start the metronome here. So annoying. And I'm just going to play through the G major scale. Okay, so I got it right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to raise that up now by 10 beats per minute, up to 70. And then I'm just going to do it again. And it doesn't feel that much faster, but it is a little faster. And I would just keep doing that over and over and over until it just got to a point where I couldn't do it anymore. But let's say that you're going through that and you mess up. Well, that's okay. I wouldn't worry too much about it. What you want to do is, if you keep messing up over and over, you want to then lower the beats per minute down by 5. So basically let's say we started at 60 and we did fine. So we progressed through 60 through to 70, okay? And then let's say that you just have so much trouble going to 70 that you just can't make it. What you want to do is you want to then lower down by 5 until you can make it, and then go back up to 70. So you would be really surprised how quickly you get faster at playing guitar just by using a metronome. And you don't have to use a G major scale, you don't have to use scales, you can use changing different chords, you can use parts of a song, you can do whatever you want. As long as you're using a metronome, you can use it to help you get the speed that you need. They are annoying, but they help you so much. Well, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you found that video helpful. If you did, please subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on any new videos. Well, thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time. So basically what you want to do is you want to start at a really slow speed, something like 60 beats per minute. And I'm just going to take my phone here and start the metronome. Hey, I'm in 3/4 time.